What's going on, guys? My name is Talvin Minaya, aka Cashflow Entrepreneur, and today I have the pleasure to be with my friend Joseph Garcia, which is a realtor, and he's going to be providing some tips, some inside tips about the real estate niche for social media marketing agencies like yours and mine. How you doing, Joseph?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me on the show, man. What do we got today, man? I know you had a lot of questions for me, and they're really great questions. And like you said, a lot of people are asking you, so I'm sure we could touch on a lot of those.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to benefit from this call because a lot of people in that are going in that niche have many questions. Well, let's get to it, guys. The first one is, what should you guys offer to a realtor?
Well, I'm gonna go to your next question. Your next question is what you shouldn't promise. Do not promise them an increase in revenues, and here's my reason why. What you should promise them is the possibility of some leads, but what I wouldn't promise them is getting closings from those leads. And it's not going to be your fault. What I see a lot of agents do is they get an internet lead and they call it one time and they don't answer, or they send one email or one text one time and there's no answer, and they think, oh, it's a bad lead. That lead doesn't, it's no good. Whoever generated this lead just got some crap leads, and they're not worth a shit, right? It takes a lot of follow up with internet leads. I don't know how it really works in other markets other than real estate, but when it comes to real estate, if you're not following up 5 or 6 times with different types of touches, phone calls, text, emails, so on, at least for 2 weeks, you're probably not going to convert that lead. So don't promise them anything fast. You can say, yeah, I'll get you some leads, but is it going to lead to revenue? That's up to them.
Exactly.
That's,
But
who's going to
why
work it and who's going to convert it.
why shouldn't you offer them increase in revenue? Why don't you think the owner of
Yeah,
the agency
yeah,
shouldn't
yeah. I get your question. The thing is, whenever they look at their P&L, or if they're making money off of paying for your services, and even if it's their fault that they're not converting the leads, that'll give them the ability to tie it back to you and say, you're not making me any extra money. When you can have things that are going to show, like, hey, look, our ad drive this type of engagement, it captured this many email addresses, blah blah blah. But if they're not converting them and you don't set that expectation in the beginning, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're setting yourself up for something not good in the future. Does that make
exactly.
sense?
Yes, it definitely does make sense. And another thing that I wanted to add to that is that um how the when you're selling a house, it doesn't really happen overnight. So it takes time. It could take a couple of weeks, couple of months maybe. It all
Absolutely,
depends. So that makes it a
absolutely.
little bit harder to track the sale, right?
Yeah, then actually something that you could add to a shopping cart, click checkout, they put their credit card in, and it's a done deal, right? A little bit trickier than that.
Yes. All right. What are the best times that you should get in contact with a realtor? Like, what's the best time during the day if you're doing
Yeah,
cold calling, for example?
yeah. If you're trying to prospect realtors to possibly get a chance at working on their marketing or their social or whatever, I'd say anytime between 8 a.m. and noon. That's going to be before 10 o'clock is really going to be that free time where a lot of them are going to be heavy with distractions. Now, if you're targeting higher end realtors that are always working, always moving, they're probably going to have gatekeepers like assistants, or they'll have a virtual assistant, somebody that you're going to have to call and schedule an appointment and so on. But the mornings are typically the best times. Once it gets to the afternoon, 1 o'clock or for noon, that's when lunches start. That's when appointments, listing appointments, buyer appointments, things like that happen. So I don't think you're going to have very much luck afternoon.
All right. What do you think is the best for approaching real estate agency, whether it's cold calling, going door to door, or just sending an email? What do you think is best in order to get that an answer back?
Yeah, yeah. It's probably going to take a combination of those things. If you if you call somebody, you're not going to be the first person calling. That's right off the bat. I at least get 2 calls a day. If it's not a recording that says this is so and so from Google, I can get you on the front page, blah, blah, blah. That at least 1 or 2 phone calls a day like that. If not, I'll get Zillow.com or Trulia or Home Advisor or something like that calling me and trying to sell me leads. So the calls can get old. And what I will say is a lot of people that call don't have their scripts down. They don't even ask me anything. They just offer their product without even trying to find out what I'm looking for. So, probably asking more questions up front rather than pitch is going to help out
Exactly.
when
Well,
I call.
I read of one of the books of from Grant Cardone, which is sell or be sold. That
Right.
when you're doing your pitch, it should be more about the client than your
Mhm.
product itself. So it should be like around
Exactly.
80% of the client, so about the client, and 20% about your product. So you don't really talk about your product until you kind of got
Yeah.
the real estate investor or whatever it is that you're prospecting to comfortable.
Correct. And until you know that you can fill their need, you know.
Exactly, until you know what to offer them and etc. So
Right.
how much do you charge as your initial price to a real estate investor? Like what's a fair price
Well,
to charge them?
you said real estate investor. I think you meant probably like if you're doing the marketing for a realtor. Is that
Yeah, yeah.
okay? Okay. Yeah, investor is gonna be a different thing. They're gonna be like, "What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't care what you do on my social." Um, my minimum would be 1,000 a month because there's a lot more work. I'd say in keeping up with the changes, Facebook changes every day. I think they just added Canvas to Instagram, which I think is really, really cool. By the way, just did my first Canvas ad, so playing around with the results on that. Um, it's there's a lot of technology involved, and I wouldn't sell myself short when it comes to selling to other people. I've seen people in my area sell to real estate agents like single ads for $100 or $200. I'm like, the time it takes to set all that up to get,
Yes, exactly.
a even a landing page, or even if you're doing the Facebook lead capture, you still have to have that forward through Zapier or whatever you're using to
Exactly.
go to a CRM or to an email. And it's like, come on, man, $100, you're doing masses, and then you're probably just working too much.
Exactly. So you gotta really value your time because
Yeah.
sometimes the amount of time that I
Yeah.
myself I actually work with car dealerships, and the amount of time I spend creating
Right.
ads for them, reevaluating the ads for them. It's just sometimes I be up the whole night having to school the next day. So
Yeah.
you really gotta value your time and charge accordingly. I mean,
Exactly.
not
And I'll add this to it. What city are you in?
I'm in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what home values do up there, what a typical or average realtor um, commission looks like up there. I'm at the very bottom of the United States in Houston,
Yeah.
Texas. So it's a little bit different here. Down here, if you're prospecting an agent, you probably want to not even look at somebody that's doing 5 or 10 deals a year. You want to look for somebody that's doing 20, 30, 40, and up. And another way to count that is we call it by volume. So if
Yeah.
somebody's selling $5 million a year, you can kind of roughly estimate that they're making anywhere between 100, 125,000 before taxes, before expenses, and stuff like that. So they'll actually have that extra thousand or 2,500 or 3,000, whatever your monthly retainer is going to be to pay out because they have enough business coming in and they don't have enough time to work on the stuff themselves and do all the what do you call it,
All the work, all the
get all the
support.
education and all the research and stuff like that. So just pay somebody, right?
Exactly, and I mean that just is not that's not only for real estate for the real
Mhm.
estate niche, but I mean that adds for every niche. Like you have to know. who you're gonna pitch to. You have to kind of
Right.
research if they are gonna be able to afford you, because you don't want to just
Exactly.
lose your time or
Yeah.
lose their time. You know what I'm saying?
You're just doing practice presentations if that's what it's about.
Exactly. You really you really gotta know who you're gonna pitch to, so to see if
Yeah.
they could afford your services, because you can't really sell yourself low as to some people that are doing social media management for $300 a month for the first month, because
I don't get it.
it's way worse than working a 9 to 5 job at a minimum wage. Way worse. All right. So the next question is how will you track leads with the type of websites that they have, which are being hosted by third parties agency?
So what I would recommend, if actually any real estate agent, anybody in business and altogether should have some type of CRM. So there's like big fancy CRMs, like you can Infusionsoft, Salesforce is very very popular, HubSpot's very popular. Real estate directly, some very good CRMs that I would suggest to any realtors. The one that I'm using right now is LionDesk, and it's extremely cheap and is very, very capable of doing everything that you need for marketing, including capturing leads from Facebook, generating, the lead gen capture on Facebook. Also, it can parse emails. So whenever you have a lead capture form, say you have a job form that sends you an email, it can monitor that email and take out name, source, all their contact information,
Exactly.
and add that as a new contact in the CRM. Follow Up Boss is another really, really, really good CRM. It's actually a little bit nicer looking than Lion Desk, but if you're more into function, Lion Desk is going to be, to me better because you can store videos on it, text messages, and when people click your emails to the videos, it's on that own hosted page, not going to a YouTube page or Bomb or something like that.
Exactly. So, which one do you think is more important, or I think equally important to the market of Facebook or Snapchat? I
That's
mean,
a good
Facebook
question.
or Instagram. Sorry.
Ah, man, Snapchat's kind of surprised me in the recent past, so that's why I'm like, that's kind of a good question. At this point, all of my stuff is Facebook aimed. I don't even. I'll test some ads on Instagram. Whenever there is an ad that I do on both, I do them separate. I don't have the placement where it's going to Facebook and Instagram at the same time. But so far, I'll be honest, no return on Instagram. A lot of likes. I mean, tons of likes, like just ridiculous engagement. But as far as leads signing up for stuff or filling out a lead capture form, haven't had much luck with that. And that's why I like Facebook, the lead capture there, because it's pre-filled. All they do is click next, and there's not it's not extra steps for a consumer or somebody looking for a house to fill out.
Exactly. I mean, as well myself, I focus more on Facebook than any other social media for auto dealership, because the thing is that I say that you have to make one great in order to make the other one great. So for example, if as the old saying says, if you go after two rabbits, you're not gonna be able to catch any of them. So you gotta
Exactly.
be able to make one good, either
Yeah.
Facebook or Instagram, and then follow the other one. At least
Right.
that's how I think it should be.
And I agree with that. And my approach has been put, since you can only put one link on Instagram, put a link to the Facebook page.
Exactly. So
And that way,
basically,
everything you have there, if you're like kind of cloning the content or just changing a little bit, but you can always put in the caption, link in bio to the Facebook page to see more about this or whatever. And then on the profile or
so
bio,
kind of
also that.
a funnel type of thing, right?
Exactly. And you're kind of crossing like your social medias. You're
Exactly.
just like, Gary Vee does is, on Snapchat, he's telling you to go to Twitter or go to his YouTube channel or whatever.
Yeah. So that way you can kind of keep the same audience in a
Exactly.
different social media platform.
Yeah, keeping
That
them
way.
engaged.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, um, what would be the best, like an overview target audience for leads for both buyers and sellers?
Well, they're definitely going to be different. So for sellers, just a strategy that I like to use that I've kept going and it's been working is hit older neighborhoods where there's larger properties, 3,000 square foot houses plus, and there's only like two older people living in it that need to downsize.
Exactly.
It's kind of, I mean, there's tons of examples online that you could look at, but just one example would be here's a list. You could do like a lead magnet. The ads say something like, click here to see all of the one-story houses available in XYZ subdivision or neighborhood or whatever like that. And target that to people in their 40s or maybe 50 plus that need to downsize. They have too much house. Their kids are already grown. They move out, so on, so on. Now, when it comes to the buyer side, I mean, with demographics and then with Facebook targeting, like it's just on interest. You can put people more likely to move as one of the what do they call it? Something targeting. I can't even remember what it's
Yeah,
called.
and also is if the house is expensive of have or has a price, there's also an option where you can target people making a certain amount of money in
Income, yeah,
that area as well.
yeah.
So
And you might want to do something like that.
exactly, exactly. So if you was to focus on Facebook, how
Mhm.
many times per week would you actually post? And actually, how would you how many times will you post selling posts, literally trying to kind of sell the houses or promoting the houses, and on
Man,
content?
so when it comes to promoting like single houses, I got this new listing. This one just sold, open house, this and that. I would probably do that as little as possible. Twice, three times a week. If you're using your targeting right and it's going back to the same people, it's retargeting those people. Yeah, it might be good to put something like that in front of them once a week, twice a week if they just happen to catch it. The rest, my big kick right now has been interviewing other vendors in the area, restaurants, title companies, lenders, and getting them to speak on things versus just hearing me talk about a house over and over and over and over again. I've done some videos for first-time homebuyers, just kind of explaining the process. And I mean, there's an ad right there if somebody wanted to do this. Explain the process a little, and then the call to action is like sign up for a first-time homebuyer class or something like that.
Exactly.
Um,
And
yeah, just I mean, coming from contribution all the time, and it's giving, 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 giving. Um, the stuff that most agents want to talk on the phone, like, well, I can't tell you that information. Call me and I'll tell you that information. I'm taking the back road and saying, here's all the information that you need. I'm the reason for it is, look, I want to build that trust over this face to face through video
yep,
before we even get on the phone, because we get on the phone, it's just two voices and it's like
exactly.
you're trying to fill each other out and so on, so on. If somebody's willing to sit there and watch and actually learn from the videos and then call me and they kind of felt me out already, I feel pretty comfortable working with them because I don't, just like in any business, there are some customers you don't want.
Exactly, exactly. And how would you follow up with a real estate agency? So, for example, if you called them today and you didn't have and you they didn't really want to listen to you, or not that they didn't really want to listen to you, they didn't have the time to listen to you, and you couldn't really close that appointment to meet up with them
Yeah.
because after you call them, of course, you have to set up that appointment so that way you can do that face to face, that have that interaction in person. You know what I'm saying? So
I think if you just got turned down cold, like no, I'm not interested. I don't want to talk to you. Great. Is it okay if I send you an email with my contact information, just so you have it in your inbox, and should the need come up, there you go. And in that email, I'd probably send like a quick audit, or I mean, for every real estate agent that I've talked to, you can look through their social media, you can look through their website, you can see how their lead capture is, You can even test their lead capture, see if you're even getting a phone call, and you can point out those things that are mistakes, and you're helping them out right off the bat without even doing anything except introducing yourselves, right?
Exactly, exactly. I definitely agree with you. And then the last question for today would be, what do you think is the importance of Facebook and Instagram ads for real estate?
So if you have a community that you're really trying to focus on, I think that's when ads come into real play. Like, um, so it said you have to be like in somebody's mind X amount of times before it'll stick and before they'll think of you. So if like you just picked a certain zip code that you wanted to market to and you can bring relevant information to that zip code, it's super cheap to target zip codes because there might be 20 to 50,000 people here. I don't know what the population is there. Um, I think the most I've seen in one zip code that I target is 70,000 people, and those are 21 years plus. So it becomes really cheap to keep consistently marketing to this same zip code, and then you can create a custom audience of people that engage with the post and blah blah blah, and really just build up your name and your brand in that area. And that way, when they're ready, they know who to turn to because they probably haven't seen anybody else as much as far as a real estate agent goes.
Exactly. But would you recommend though, a Facebook Live, to those people that are going to be watching us, to do for
Yeah,
their clients?
yeah. Would I recommend a real estate company do that for their clients?
No, nah. When you recommend social media agencies to do that for real estate for their real estate clients,
Oh man, just go through their websites and like on a Facebook Live and show them what is the most common mistakes or things like that. I mean, there's so many things to do for to market a real estate business. But yeah, definitely.
exactly. Well, I had a meeting with one of my clients at an auto dealership, and I did the first time Facebook Live, and within
Hmm.
1 minute we had around 30 views and
Hmm.
one comment, which turned out into a lead that was interested in one of the
Okay.
cars that was in the lot. So I think
Yeah.
that Facebook Live is really, really beneficial for you to
Yeah.
showcase your client and his services.
Well, you're gonna double up too because Facebook wants you to do Facebook Lives. Like they're gonna put that out harder than anything.
Exactly. And I mean, if you can do it on Instagram now too, well, it's even better because now I seen that Instagram is kind of reminding the followers that
Right.
you did a live or that you posted something in the story. So you, if
Yeah.
you're doing real estate or any other type of clients that you have, you should definitely be using be using Instagram stories.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still trying to get my hands around Instagram and all the stories and stuff like that. Heard now you can actually save stories and reuse those. Um,
I
don't
think
have a
so.
clue.
Yeah, I think I'm not really sure because I haven't been really posting a lot on Instagram or things like
Gotcha.
that. I've been more focused on
You're
Facebook.
chasing the Facebook rabbit.
Exactly. So I'm on Facebook a lot more than Instagram, but
Right.
I think that you might be right that now there's an option where you can save your live and then go back to it, and other people, and even if it ended, other people can go back to it and rewatch it.
Exactly.
All
Yeah.
right, man.
It's pretty cool,
So
man.
thank you very much, man, for your time and for being with us today. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
it. And
It's a lot of fun, man. I hope we answered a lot of questions, and any of your clients that had questions or people that you're connecting with, I hope that helps them out. Because, yeah, I mean, all the questions you asked me, they're pretty normal, and they're questions I ask myself sometimes. So, absolutely.
it would definitely help them as well as it will help myself if I go into that niche, because the things that we talked about here were were insane, man. I
Yeah.
think it will help a lot of people.
Yeah. And I'll finish by saying, like, in the real estate world, our kind of expectation is anything we do now, we don't get paid for 90 days. If we capture a lead now, it's a minimum 3 months before we can get paid on that one lead. So, like, I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but have that expectation in your mind because a real estate agent And if they don't have that in their mind, if they're looking to get a lead today and closing it tomorrow, come on, that's just not realistic, right?
So yeah, so it takes a little bit before you get paid, though.
Exactly.
Don't let that discourage you though, because the money is there. There's a lot of real estate agents that are making enough money to pay you the right price to their social
Exactly.
media marketing and the social media in general.
Right. And they need it.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Hey man, it was fun. It's fun being on. And if there's anything else I can help with, man, you know you can reach out to me.
Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it as well. As I think that the people that are going to view this client will appreciate it as well. Thank you, man.
All right.
All
Have a
right.
good one.
You too.
Later.